Well, it's official. As of today, I am under contract to buy a tiny house. That's right, after 5 years on the road, almost 5 years to the day that I put my house on the market, I am now on the verge of buying a house, a small beach cottage to be exact, and I'm excited about it. It is with mixed emotions, okay, because I understand the allure of being a nomad and there's tremendous value. I've been without a house for 5 years, and I could see a path for me to remain without a house until I die. I do not believe that owning a house changes your life. And I believe if you buy a house above your means or too big, it could hurt your life. And there is risks to buying a house, but I want to bring you down or bring you through the thought process of this 5 year journey. Good to see you, Andre, in a live chat. First, why did I get on the road? I sold my house and got on the road to reposition my life in Florida, to live by the beach, and to cut my monthly recurring bills for housing in half. Why did I not buy a small house 5 years ago when prices were cheaper? Well, first, you don't buy initially after you sell a house, in my opinion. And two is I had to secure an income. I had to wait 2 years, live in my car in New Jersey to secure a remote job position and then stabilize that. Because without income, without your health and without income, buying a house does not give you security. It gives you more liability. Because buying a house is a liability to a certain extent. It's an asset, but also liability. Okay. So 2 years in New Jersey, had to wait to get the income, had to wait to get the job transfer. Then for a year and a half, I had to go back and forth to Florida to figure out what areas I liked most of Florida. Travel all over while I traveled up and down the East Coast. And then in 2019 into early 2020, I was close to honing in on a home base, but the pandemic hit. And we went into a national lockdown, national emergency. And so I have an elderly mother in New Jersey, and I didn't know where society was going to go, so I went up to New Jersey. It was tough. But that helped me to finalize the fact that if my mother wasn't alive, I would probably never go back to New Jersey unless there was a hurricane, and going to New Jersey was an escape route. Yes, the fall is nice to experience, but the summers are crowded. I don't like the spring. It's too cold. And the winters I hate. And I like the vibe and the culture in South Florida. That's my personal opinion. Other people have different. I'm sharing for me. Why would I not stay on wheels? The reason you stay on wheels is to explore, travel, and maximum flexibility. Why do you buy a house? You've explored. You're willing to give up some flexibility for stability. And it's an asset allocation. Look, I spent the time getting out of debt on the road. I spent the time picking up side hustles, maintaining a main income, and not buying anything. I could have bought a new car, could have bought a hybrid car. I could have bought an RV. Would I do? Nothing. I started in the current car I owned, and I stayed there. Because I knew that whenever I decide to either buy an RV or a new car, or if I decide to buy a house, that's a major asset allocation. And that's why one of the videos I did is don't go buying a new car, a new RV if you're going to live in your car, because that's a major asset allocation. And on average, cars and RVs go down. And on average, homes either maintain their value or go up over long periods of time. And I understand that. They both have different dynamics, different lifestyles. So you can't compare apples to apples. There's parts of home living I still hate. Okay? There's parts of the nomad life I don't even want to say hate, but I don't like, okay? But I look at an asset allocation wise as well, to be a financial steward, I said to myself, I could eat the depreciation of an RV, but I don't solve parking. And I can manage campgrounds and I can travel around, but then I'm wasting time. I'm wasting energy to get me to the beach, and I'm going all back and forth just to get where I would get if I allocate money, okay, to a house, which is still below my means. What's the price tag? 150K. 150K by the beach, around 200 square feet. Guys, in my opinion, for that price, the structure is old, but it's the electrical was done recently, redone. That's the main thing. And if it blows away, you can turn to an RV lot. So there's my exit strategy. If the small little shack, 200 square feet or so, if it blows away, it's an RV lot. I own the land. I don't lease the land. I own the land. It's a HOA, but only a couple $100 a month. And that covers water, sewer, trash, amenities of the community. The only thing I got to pay extra is electric bill and property taxes. If you add them all up, my monthly recurring fees would be about $450 a month. Can't beat that. So those are some of the major reasons. Only 150K. I'm going to get to these live comments. I want to get this out. It's a big night. 5 years on the road full time. And the intensity has been there because this is what you got to get. How many times have I walked away from a home base? How many times have I walked away from RV? A lot of times. Has it hurt me? Yes. Have I shared that hurt? Yes. But when in doubt, don't buy, and that's what I practice. One thing, I don't want to use the word pride because I don't want to use the word I'm proud of myself because I realize only by the grace of God and support of good people, but you got to put in the work. But I'm thankful, that's a better word, that I went through the pain. I took my time. I didn't rush. I didn't have house fever. I stayed disciplined in a budget below my means. I've mitigated some risk with, even if the structure blows away, it's an RV lot. I own the land. I'm paying for the land. So there could be a path where I eventually own a travel trailer or a Class B, because if that little mobile home, if that blows away, I'm buying an RV. I'm not building a house. But this community, I feel too, the area, everything, it's a good asset allocation, especially if inflation increases. But I think we're probably close to the top house prices for a little bit. So I don't think that, that's not a major issue. The major issue for me, okay, is at this season of my life, why stay on wheels if that takes more time out of my day to get where I want to be in the day? A home base should enhance your current lifestyle and your current habits. An RV, same thing. But an RV, we know, goes down in value and house tends to go up. But I'm not even saying that because I'll probably never sell. I'll probably never get the money back. So my thing is my quality of life, because I'm at the beach. Okay. And if I get sick or hurt, I'm not in an RV. Even though I could live in an RV, sick or hurt. I love RVs. And if my mobile home blows away, I'm getting an RV. But I'm also not moving once a month, and I'm not staying long-term in an RV park. And look, you're not going to get any RV park under $500 by the beach. It's impossible. Okay. So, that's an upside. Okay. Again, is there a little bit more liability? Is there a little more entanglement? Yes, I'm very honest with it. I measured this, guys. I did not make an emotional decision. I've been debating for years. Okay. And I've taken my time. I've taken the steps. And I know I'm like screaming, but I got to get this out. And I'm very thankful, again, for all the positive people. I don't feel scared. I don't feel nervous. I don't feel regretful. I have 3 more days to back out of the contract. But I don't feel that way unless something comes up, but I don't feel that way. I reviewed the property several times. I know the neighborhood. I know the HOA information. Okay, so that's what I mean. I mean, you get to a point where why I got on the road, my goal was to get down to Florida, live by the beach, cut my monthly bills in half. When I lived in New Jersey for 15 years when I owned a condo, my monthly recurring bills were around $2,500 a month, and I was an hour away from the beach. And the beach's not even that nice and packed in the summer. I mean, it's crazy. And I had about 1,000 square feet. Now my monthly recurring bills are under $500 a month. I'm right at the beach. And it's 200 square feet. And if it blows away, RV gets put there on the land, and I'm done. Rest of my life. You say, well, what about hurricanes? Well, number one, in New Jersey, Hurricane Sandy destroyed people's houses I worked with. When I was on the road, I did a video from Thousand Trails 2 years ago. A tropical storm came through a campground, knocked down trees, and destroyed RVs in a campground in New Jersey in the summer. And if a hurricane comes to Florida and blows away my mobile home, RV lot, and I'm putting an RV and I'll tow it away or I'll drive it away when a storm comes. I will probably retire and die there. Could a natural disaster happen? What about global warming? Well, guys, if we live for global warming, where are you moving? Are you gonna say, I'm gonna buy a house in Alaska, in Idaho because of global warming, so I want to destroy my life until that would happen? No, obviously I mitigate risk. Obviously, again, I'm just buying a lot. I know flood insurance and home insurance is high in Florida. That's why, for me, I'm not going to allocate money for something I got to pay a lot of insurance. Thank everyone in the live comments. Please know it's a big night, so I'm just going to use extra time to talk about this, but I'll read all the comments. And so I want to share some of these things, too, to help you. Number one is I want to share, again, it's been 5 years, 2 years I've spent living in my car in the winter in New Jersey to get a job transfer. And I had other plans, but I wanted to try that first. So don't move before you get an income. I have a lot of people, they message me all the time, say, where do I park in Florida? I want to come. If you don't have an income here, a job here, and if you haven't visited here, don't even ask that question, because you're going to hurt yourself, taking way too much risk. In my opinion, do what you want. So 2 years was just bunkering down New Jersey. I've shown you videos of it. A year and a half was traveling around Florida, figuring out where do I want to live, if at all, in Florida. And going back and forth up and down the East Coast throughout those 5 years and traveling around Florida, I've pinpointed a location. And I realized I don't want to live anywhere else. I don't want to live in South Carolina, Georgia, New Jersey, Delaware. God bless everyone who lives in those areas. I don't want to. And if there's a pandemic or if there's I am betting on Florida. And if Florida goes, I go. Guys, if Florida goes away, guys, my quality of life, my joy for living is, yeah, could I adapt? I'll adapt. But guys, I'm committed to Florida. This is why I did what I did. Again, a natural disaster. Again, I'll still go visit my mom. Now my mom also. Part of this is, look, it's for me. Okay. You do what you do as an adult for me. But if my mom ever needs somewhere, now she's good. But I did it based on what I need to do for me. And I could still keep the structure there and get a van if I want to, because I checked that out. So, that may happen down the road. Right now, I got to get through closing. I should close by Christmas. And I got to get settled in. Okay. I don't plan to buy anything. Everything's furnished. Okay. I'm not buying anything. I'm not doing anything. There's things I can, like spruce up, but I ain't going to do nothing. I'm going to settle in. Okay. And I'm going to adapt and enjoy, okay, what I believe is going to be good for me, not because it's going to change my life, it's going to enhance my daily routine. But my life is good with the house, and if the house doesn't work out, my life will be good. Why? Because my habits are good, my mindset and the way I do things in order is good, and the grace of God, okay? So, it's time, because I've done everything, and to allocate, I definitely don't want to be in a car anymore, not because it's a bad life. I like the life, but I need a little bit more space. I mean, for me at this point. And before I would invest in a car or RV, I also know the research of the campground. You got to add that fee and the logistics of moving around from campground to campground, all that energy, all that time, all that money I'm burning just to get to the beach or just to live a certain lifestyle. It's a bad asset allocation at this point to just do that, okay? At my situation, everyone has a different situation. I do not talk down about living in a car. I do not talk down about living in an RV. Because again, even what I'm buying is kind of based on that. But it was a very close call, guys. We could have went anyway. I mean, we could still go anyway, but I doubt the deal going to fall apart now. Everything's signed. It's just I got 3 days to review a couple things. So, obviously, the time I took shows that you need to make serious consideration, because it's a big responsibility of home ownership. I learned that. I learned my lesson. Okay, I believe I bought the right square footage. I believe I bought the right type of property for me, with as little entanglements as possible, low maintenance as possible, can turn into an RV lot. And look, I think property by the beach, I think 150K, I think, 41, I think by the time I'm older, it'd be fine. It's good. I think it's a good decision. Again, can a disaster happen? Yes. There's no decision I would have made that there's no risk. The risk of buying an $80,000 Class B is that in 5 years it's worth 20, and I still have to pay for somewhere to park it. And I still have to move around all the time. Thank you, Early Riser. Thank you for that housewarming gift, Early Riser. Forgive me, everyone in the live chat. I want to get this out. Thank you, Early Riser. I want to tell all my nomads out there, living in their car, trailer, or getting ready to sell their house, you're doing the right thing. The nomad life is a good thing if you maintain your income, if you have somewhat of a goal, and even if you don't, self-care. Self-care and maintain your income. Thank you, BLM. Thank you, BLM. I meant to ask you before, when you're up north in a car, the job transfer, did you stay in the car the whole winter? I stayed in the car the whole winter for 2 years in New Jersey. I caught pneumonia 1 year. Yeah. So, yep, no hotels. And that's true. And I've stayed in my car in Florida for 2 summers. People say, visit Florida in the summer before you buy a house. I did. So I don't have false expectations of what Florida is. Okay. And I have enough flexibility to still go visit my mom in the fall or take a vacation. I will take a vacation in the fall if I want. But for me, seeing the leaves change colors or, again, what I've learned living on the road is I think you should do it if you do it responsibly. I think it is a great lifestyle, the nomadic lifestyle. Thank you, Twister. I think the nomad life is a great lifestyle. But I think the purpose is to explore, to live simple, to understand how much you don't need. Guys, 200 square feet, even that I don't need, but that's the smallest you're going to buy. Okay? I mean, 200 square foot is smaller than some fifth wheels. Never forget it. There's some RVs that are 300 square feet. Okay. Thank you, Vicky. Hard work and the grace of God and the positive people who support me. Thank you, Vicky. And I'm proud of you and your son. You moved to California. I know you still love Florida. I thank my parents. I thank my siblings. I thank all my friends. You don't do things. I thank everyone who gave me a job opportunity. I recognize you don't do things alone. Obviously, I put in the work, but I recognize I don't speak to everyone anymore. But there's still love in my heart. And because I went through so much pain, for those who watch this channel regularly, so much pain to really try to make a wise decision and a decision that's still going to inspire me. I'm still inspired. I still feel good. And I checked myself several times throughout the process. I didn't feel inspired. And certainly I could buy the house and it'll be a disaster and I'll share it. I've shared videos on here when I hate life, when I'm mad, on the road too. Okay. So if I made videos on the road that I hate life and things are bad, I'll do it in a house. Okay. By the beach. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I'll be able to figure that out, guys. Don't worry about it. But look, there's some part of the home ownership, again, I still don't like. There's some part of the road I still don't like. And I made a calculated decision based on the science, the data, did all the research, campground fees. I've stealth parked for 90% of the time on the road. I don't want to do that anymore. At this point, as hard as I worked, as much I saved up, it doesn't make sense, and I don't enjoy it. And I do have to think about asset allocation if I'm going to deploy money. If I'm going to make a purchase more than $1,000 or more than $5,000, I have to think about asset allocation, depreciation, appreciation. Okay. So that's not the only decision. I still think about, guys, again, I'm not negative. I'm not anti-RV. If it's below your means, I'm not anti-house below you. But you guys know what I'm saying for those who watch this channel. Okay. I feel I have been true to what I said from the beginning. Thank you, Tracy. That's a beautiful super sticker. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, all these super chats. Thank you, all my members commenting. You are part of my success. I recognize that. Thank you, Varex. He goes, a boxable 50K, 400 square feet. You can just buy land, 25K something. You're not going to buy any land in the beach in South Florida for anywhere near 50K. And you're not going to be able to put that possibly on that land. So before you buy a tiny house, I did the research. You got to figure out where you're going to put it. If you want to live in the middle of nowhere, you're going to be able to put a tiny boxable. But you got to be willing to live in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to be within 15 minutes of a Starbucks, 15 minutes of a gym, okay, and that's where I want to live. Okay, I don't want to live. I've been in the country land, and I respect the country land. I almost bought a lot there, and I respect the boondocking nature. But for me, and for some people like Virex, if that's your dream, go after it. Just do the research. And just remember, when you buy unrestricted land, not in an HOA, remember your neighbors can do whatever they want just as well as you. So everyone has a different journey. I don't want to push my journey on you. Whether you want to live in an RV, a house, a car, or a tiny home. Look, when in doubt, stay flexible. When in doubt, I've stayed on wheels, okay? I don't doubt anymore. I have my direction. It could fail, okay? I've mitigated as much risk as I can by buying below my means, the proper square footage. If the house blows away, it's an RV lot. So basically, I just bought a campsite by the beach. I'm fine with that. And if there's a total natural disaster, then guys, I'm back where I'm at now. If everything goes wrong, I am back where I'm at right now. Okay. I've learned to live with nothing, okay, and maintain an income, pick up a side income, and execute self-care. That's the message of this channel. Maintain an income, pick up a side income, and focus, number one, on self-care. That's it. Everything else gives you options based on that. Your RV doesn't give you options. Your house doesn't give you options. Your health, your income, and your habits give you options. And I've disciplined myself because a lot of people who get many options, I understand, they a lot of times they choose all of them, okay? Or they, whatever. When in doubt, choose none of them and work on health, income, and self-care. Those are some of the major things. I'll share more in the coming days. Again, I have 3 more business days to cancel a contract if something comes up. I don't foresee it because I've done a lot of research, but anything's possible. And obviously, I will share as the journey unfolds. What is my plan with my current vehicle, my Jeep that I've been living out for 5 years, got over 200,000 miles on it? Well, again, right now I'm going to keep it, and maybe a lot of these live feeds and everything will be very similar, okay? Because my daily routine is going to be very similar, okay? Just a little bit of an enhancement with less movement, okay? More enjoyment by the beach. I'm going to put again, 200 square feet. I got a living room. Everything's furnished. I ain't buying nothing. I'm going to buy like some dumb bars just in case I don't want to go to Planet Fitness and see some short guy banging the weights, breathing, even though I want to see some yoga pants. And I already got a coffee maker in there. I don't have to buy it. I'm probably still going to get Starbucks. It's below my means, this house, but I'm going to have that just in case I don't want to leave the house. I have my exit strategy. Another worst case scenario, because I know a lot of people think negative. I do too sometimes, understand. If the housing market goes down 50%, guys, it's like me buying an RV, and in 5 years, I've lost 50% value of the RV. Okay. There you go. Okay. And the chances of that happening are more that the house, even if it doesn't go up 50% in 5, the chances of it going up 50% are higher than it going down. But even if it stays the same, it's a better asset allocation than buying an RV per se. I can still eat the depreciation of RV. It's a different lifestyle. But I got to pay for campground fees. I don't want to self-park anymore. And look, I like the idea of having everything I want me. But again, if this mobile home blows away, it's a very old one. I don't know how long it's going to last. But what I'm doing is going to get an RV. Okay, that's the 10-year down the road thing. I hope my best case scenario, at least for now, is this small little shack lasts at least 5 years, hopefully. Greatest 10 years. And then after that, we'll see. Probably RV. But look, the thing can blow away. Here's the other thing, and then we're going to go live comments. The thing can blow away this year. But in South Florida, in all of Florida, we just ended hurricane season. So I thought about this. So I know bare minimum, I'm going to have 10 months with no hurricane, with no threats. Okay. So I'm going to get 10 months of life equity, okay, and some property equity possibly. But I'm not looking to sell, so that's not my thing. I took so long because I know what it is. You don't make money on property till you sell it. I know it. And I respect the RV life, guys. Hard decision. But if this house blow away, I'm getting an RV. That's my next thing. But I just don't have to find a place to park it. That's the final thing. And that was part of the final decision. I bought a place to park. I bought a place to mitigate my risk if I get sick or hurt and need to get off the road. I bought a place with enough capacity to stabilize my life. And again, cherry on top, if my mom ever needs somewhere to go. And so all factors considering, financially below my means, logistically in an area I want to be no matter what anyway, I'm committed to Florida. That's the reason I started this journey. I've lived through hurricanes in New Jersey. I lived through blizzards. I've traveled up and down the East Coast several times before a pandemic, during a pandemic, when they shut down state parks and campgrounds, and after a pandemic. I don't really fear another pandemic. I think that may be a once-in-a-lifetime thing, so that's not my reason for buying it. If I was panic buying because of a pandemic, I would have bought something a year ago. And the prices would have been cheaper. But I'm not in a rush, okay? And I'm still not in a rush. But I know how painful it is to go through the process, so I empathize with those going through this. Hopefully me sharing this helps you a little bit. Remember, we're all at different points in the journey. Remember, we all have different desires. So be true to yourself. Follow these core things, and then we're going to all live comments. Maintain your health, maintain your income, and pick up a side income. I researched, if I lose my main job, can I support myself here? And I can. And then self-care. And then if you allocate money to something below your means and it enhances the life that you already built without anything, then it may be worth the risk, but take your time. Like I took my time. And hopefully my example, not that I'm perfect, and my words, not that I tell you everything wise, help a little bit for you. Thank you to everyone who has ever watched my channel, even the people that we've had disagreements and we went our separate ways. I apologize again if I've hurt anyone. I will say this, guys, to live in your car, you got to be a little bit intense because you're a little bit in survival mode, okay? There's an edge you got to have, And so look, having a house or home base, even an RV a little bit, but definitely a house, the edge is off a little bit, okay? But I'm still inspired because I am still me and my habits inspire me. My environment inspires me. And I adapt. There's been plenty of times in life people thought I was going to stay partying forever. And then I got in a church. And they thought I would stay in the church forever. And then I reinvented myself again. And then I went through a break. And then I became obese. Then I became skinny. Then I balanced it out. I balanced out my life. I'm not scared to change. Tupac had Thug Life tattooed on his stomach. After he got shot the first time, he said, I'm done with this. And then they poked at him and said, you can't do that. That's who you are. And then he went back to that life because he didn't want to adapt. So I got the nomad life tatted on me. Just like I've got certain religious things tatted on me. Just like I have people I love that passed away tatted. But that doesn't mean that I can't change. You can change. If you're not on the right path and you're in the streets or you're doing something bad, you can go into a church, you can change. And then if you're in the church and you don't like it anymore, you want to balance it, you can change. If you're overweight, you can lose weight. If you're too skinny, you can eat some things that you enjoy and balance. You can balance, you can change. You don't have to stay who want you to be. What will I do with Inspirational Nomad? The same thing I will do with tattoos buried in my skin of people I love that are no longer here. I'll keep it with me as a reminder to my journey. My name doesn't make me. And so that's my message tonight. I hope it helped. All right, we're going to all live comments. Thank you for being gracious, because I know it was a long opening. It's 30 minutes of opening stuff. Thank you for all the super chats too. Know that I truly appreciate that. Thank you. Andre, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Jesse, my first ever member. I love you, and I apologize. You know, I know last week you're going through your ups and downs with your own home purchase. I don't know where you're at, but you know I love you, and you do whatever you need to do for you, okay? Varex, tiny house is ideal. Keith, brother, thank you, brother. Hard work and the grace of God. That's what you did, man. You worked 30 years. You're down here in Florida. Keith lived in Indiana. He worked 30 years for FedEx. He figured out how he can get his income down here, whether early retirement or still working. And then he came down and he's renting a trailer for $1,000 a month. And what I would tell you, Keith, is rent for a couple years. If you can, you do what you want. Don't be in a rush to buy anything. It's been 5 years since I owned a house. It's been 5 years since I bought anything over $1,000. Keith, thank you, man. You know what it is. I love you too, man. And shout to Twister. I'm proud of you, Keith. Varex, excuse me. Tiny house, look, it's ideal in some ways it's not. Okay. If you have figured out through travel and exploration and back and forth where you're committed to, and if you're going to allocate money, I would not allocate money to a tiny house that you don't own the land. I would not allocate money to a tiny home community. I'm buying in a community that you can build a single family home, and there's some that are over $500,000. You can put an RV or you can put a mobile home for now. I am not buying a tiny home where you lease the land. I am not buying a tiny home in a tiny home deed restricted community, because this is an asset allocation that you have to think very wisely about. Okay. Because a tiny home right now will run you $50K. And if you blow $50K and you don't know where you're going to put that tiny home, or you don't own the land, I'm not saying it's bad, but you basically bought an RV without wheels. So you got to be very careful with tiny homes. And I use the word tiny home for the YouTube search engine. But technically, the tiny home represents something under 300 square feet. I think technically it can even be up to 500 square feet. Let's just say anything under 500 square feet is a tiny home, but really under 300 square feet. But really, guys, what I bought is a beach bungalow, a little beach cottage. That's what I bought. So the tiny home is just a search engine thing. Twister, hello everyone. Sam, is the title true? It's true. I'm officially under contract. It's not clickbait. I do have 3 days to review certain things and cancel if I want, but I did a lot of research, so unless something unforeseen comes up, I don't see it. Varex, cheap land. No, I don't agree with that. Cheap land is almost a bad investment, because not too many people are going to want to live in the middle of nowhere and live in a little house. Most people who buy property are families, or they want a resort vacation property. Cheap land in the middle of nowhere with there's a very few buyers in the market for that. Okay. So you have to remember to step outside your own perspective. If you're going to allocate money, and anything over $5,000 is an allocation of money, I would not recommend buying a tiny house in the middle of nowhere. But that's my opinion, because I think it's a poor investment. But again, my opinion, I've made bad investments. I've lost money. This could be a bad investment. But I did all the research, and that was just what I would share with you. Doug, the time has arrived. It has, brother. Under contract. It's official. Well, really, it's a beach bungalow. But yeah, we'll say tiny house. Home brewed coffee. I'm probably still going to go to Starbucks. Initially, I have no plans to change my daily routine. Why? Because right now, I want to buy it, close, and settle in emotionally and financially, everywhere. Just settle in. And I want to keep my routine the same, because I'm going through a volatile period now of transition. So I'm not going to change anything in my daily routine yet. For the first few weeks, all the furniture, all the coffee stuff's already there, other than the coffee grinds. But I still probably going to go to Starbucks, still going to go to the gym. I'm within 15 minutes of everything. And incrementally, I'll have some things, not much. I'm probably not going to put much in the house. Just a little things, just to have. And then we'll see how it goes as I transition. But when you go through a transition, when you go through some volatile times, you have to stabilize. And that's why I tell you, if you're going to day trade, don't risk more than 30% of your net worth, and your other assets better be in very stable things. Because if you bring all this instability into your life, you're going to have a mental meltdown. I've had a couple. So right now, I feel very stable, though. I feel very inspired, very happy with my choice, very happy. I feel thankful. I thank the Lord a few times. I cursed God a couple times in this process because I felt like, oh, why did I miss out on this? Or why can't I do this? Or what's wrong with this? And, there is a desperation when you're on the road, and there is a little bit of anger towards society. Okay. It's just par for the course when you live on the road because you're like anti-society. But I've always been a productive person in society. I've never blamed anyone. So, I can speak that it's something in your mind that you're like, fuck it all. But I don't act on that, but I understand that. Okay. So, look, you do conform when you buy a house, but you also do break the law when you stealth camp for long periods of time in the same parking lot. So, everything has a give and a take. I've done both. Okay. So, but what I can tell you is don't stay in a situation long term that's unhealthy. And if you're not working to improve your life, you're just trying to find somewhere free to park, you're going to get fucked. You could do it. I know people do it their whole life. But that's not what I did. I maintained a job, kept a side job, never blamed anyone for anything, and never felt entitled, and never resisted when someone asked me to move. So let's go back to these live comments. Where are we at? Temperature control for the win. Look, there is a portable air conditioner there. No central air. I don't want central air. Portable air, which I love. But other than the height of the summer, I don't expect to use much of the air, just a fan, because I don't like condensed air. I got the ocean breeze. I'm right there. I got plenty of windows. And here's the other thing. I hope Big Plan Dan's watching. I almost bought a lot a couple months ago. It was very similar. But after I left it, I did not feel inspired at all. There was like a low. And I couldn't understand why there was such a low vibe. The data was right. The science was right. The square footage, the amount, the location. And I'm trying to figure out why don't I feel like positive about this? And here's why. There was no sun exposure on that lot. It was like northwest facing. Here's another gem for anyone getting ready to buy a house. And you're going to notice even when you have an RV or you park, the logistical direction of your property or where you're parked. And you want your property to have southern exposure. Sunlight, vitamin D, when your house doesn't have good sunlight, there's a low energy. You say, well, I don't want to pay for the air conditioning. Guys, I'm going to be outside most day. I got 200 square feet. That's the size of an RV. Fifth wheels are bigger than 200 square feet. So I survived already with a fan for 2 years in Florida in the summer. So air conditioning is not like major thing. It's going to be an enhancement, but not going to be running the air all the time like that. So, but I want to say that when you buy property or when you're positioning your RV, you want sun exposure. Because to be able to have your windows open and get sun, and to be able to sit outside your property or sit outside your campsite and get sun now you want to have a shaded area. And do I have palm trees? Yeah, I got palm trees. By the grace of God. I got palm trees, guys, on the property. So I want to manage expectations, guys. The property is not that big. I am close to neighbors, okay, but I'm happy with it. I'm not buying a multi-million-dollar house, guys. I'm buying a $150 shack. Okay. So, manage your expectations. But I am very inspired by it, okay? And I feel good about the sun exposure that it has. I could see myself even too just sitting in a chair out there, working on a laptop with the palm tree, with the ocean breeze, and I'm good, man. A lot of the people in the community are retirees or seasonal. So it's not this residential community. I'm not in a residential community. Okay. So all those things are part of the decision-making process, guys. Okay. So I hope these are helping you tonight. Click that thumbs up. I'm going to go back to these live comments. Jesse, update. I will be emailing Ben Carson to be able to buy a house. The politics that affect basic needs in America is real. Yeah, I understand that. What I can tell you is this. If you're struggling financially, I know it's not easy to understand, but believe me, having a house is like, it's really going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. I understand, though, rents are proportional and they're high, but you have to understand that I've done both, guys. I've lived out of my car. I've rented at campsites. Campsites fees have gone up. I've stayed at hotels. I've lived in a house. If I bought the same type of house I bought in my 20s, guys, I could do it now because my career and my life's more developed, but it would still be a bigger burden. Okay? That's why it took a long time to figure out the size that's manageable. Shout out to Cartoon Mark. This is a manageable size house, manageable recurring expenses. And that takes a lot of time to figure out, guys. And even it's still risk. So I lived through the housing crisis in 2007 and 8, where the government basically made it easy for people to buy houses. And you know what happened, Jesse? Everyone cursed the government when the housing market went down. Okay. So what you have to understand is when you buy a house, there's no guarantee it goes up in value. We're in a unique time, guys. Again, I think I'll do a separate video. I may be buying close to the top. Okay. But again, I'm at 150K by the beach, so I'll take that risk. Okay. So this is the other thing I want to tell you. In 2017, people told me that 75K for an RV lot's too much. Now it's double, sometimes triple. People been telling me since 2016 the housing market is going to crash. Don't listen to psychopaths who want everything dirt cheap. It's never going to happen. So there may be a dip, guys. There may be a correction. I owned a house during a housing recession. For 5 years when I owned my house in New Jersey, I had negative equity. I owed more than it was worth. But there's a couple things. One is I wasn't living where I wanted to live. I am now. Guys, even if my house loses equity, I'm not looking to sell. My monthly recurring fees are manageable. It's cheaper than a campground. I got full utility hookups. I'm by the beach. I manage my risk. You don't want the government to give you a house until you can figure out how to manage your risk, because that's what happened in 2007 and 8. We all need help. My first house, I got an FHA, and I got help. But I want to tell you, that house at many times was a big burden, okay? And I had a tax lien, and I was in debt, okay? So now, guys, so that's all I just want to share. Let's go back to these live comments. Forex, 200 square feet for 150K, can't beat it. Why? Just broke that down. Hopefully. Forex, boxable is 50K. Yeah, with no land. And you're going to be in the middle of nowhere. It's a bad investment. A boxable tiny house is an RV without wheels. You got no land. And if you buy cheap land in the middle of nowhere, you got no buyers who want that. Very few. And you got no infrastructure. You got no schools, no hospitals, no stores. You're basically saying, I want to put a little shack in the middle of nowhere so I can eat, breathe, and look outside and then go back to bed. I want to wake up early, still be able to go to Starbucks, still go to the beach, still see beautiful Latina MILFs, still go to Whole Foods for lunch, still be able to DoorDash, still be around corporations for job opportunities, still be around diversity of people from all different walks of life. I don't want to be in the middle of nowhere making my own coffee, looking at a haystack blow while I wait for the world to end in my cheap house. I don't want to do that. T. Serono, I love you. Jesse, wow. That's an awesome. I think it's great. Look, I didn't rush, but I don't know if we're at the peak, but I'll tell you this, guys, 150K by the beach, I'm comfortable with that risk assessment. Because, look, I don't think that's going to be the case in 10, 20, 30 years, but I'm not buying it for that. I'm not buying it because I fear inflation. I'm buying it because it's where I want to live, it's below my means, and it's an asset allocation. But I could have bought, and I almost bought an RV, or I could have just stayed on the road. Guys, I'm not mad at either decision. So I'm not saying that now everyone on the road or everyone who wants to live in the middle of nowhere, you're wrong. I'm just saying these are the things I thought about, and that's why. And so you guys got to figure out what works for you. Twisted. Praise the Lord. I thank God. Even though I curse God sometimes during this process, I want to be fair. So proud of you, Sam. I'm thankful for all the positive people. You don't do great things without others' helps. Thank you. Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. Twisted Celebration. Thank you. Andre. $450 a month. Yes, and recurring fees. If you add up the HOA, which covers water, sewer, trash, and amenities. Only other utility bill I got to pay is electric. I'll manage that. To maintain a 200 square foot house, that's going to be less than $100 a month. That's why the square footage of your house matters, or apartment. Because even when you rent, you got to pay your electric bill. Never forget it, most times. And campgrounds, state parks in Florida, they charge you a utility fee now if you got an RV. Okay, so guys, everything's up. Remember, and well, so HOA fee, electric bill, and property taxes, all equal, all together, everything included, under $500. What about home insurance? Guys, I'm buying an RV lot with a little shack on it. I'm not insuring that. If it blows away, we're getting an RV and that's it. Home insurance in Florida will kill you. At least for me. It's a better investment. If you got the money and you're willing to buy $350,000, $400,000 house, it's a better investment than a shack. But it's not going to be by the beach. You're going to have to do the lawn, and you're going to have to pay home insurance. I don't want to do any of those things. Okay? I am very happy, and that's not going to be below my means. Guys, I don't understand some people, guys. Look, I make good money. I work hard for it. I don't feel guilty, and I picked up side hustles. If I bought a $400,000 house, guys, I would not feel inspired. Okay, because I know the numbers, and I would feel like, I don't care if it. For me, this is just me talking. Don't anyone take offense. So now again, I don't have any kids. I don't have any pets. But even if I, guys, you said, well, what are we gonna do now? You gonna get a girl? Guys, I could live with a girl in there. I could have a kid and a dog. I'd still be good. Okay, and if they didn't like that, they wouldn't live with me. So I'm thankful. And I want to say this. I'm very thankful that this is one of the last little old mobile homes that are like this. All the other ones are getting knocked down. They're putting up $500,000 houses. So I don't want, like I said to myself, I know communities. I've been down here, guys, for 5 years back and forth. I've seen how these little mobile home communities, after the mobile home gets so old, they knock it down and people build this big structure. I don't want that big structure. I just want that land for the small shack. Guys, that 1970s shack, guys, I'll keep that till I die as long as it holds up. And when it doesn't hold up, I get an RV and I'm done. All right, let's keep going. Good job. He goes, I only need 10 hours of work. Yeah, guys, for $450 a month, I could DoorDash and still do YouTube, and I'm good. But I'm still going to keep my main job. I'm not going to quit my job. And I'm still going to focus on, I already did research too. Like if I lost my main job, there's other corporations I know in Florida that I would still work. I'm 41. Part of this is long-term thinking, but also I want to be here. I don't want to, if I did get laid off on my main job, then there's more volatility. I'm in a window pocket now where even if I get laid off tomorrow, I'm good, but I don't want to. But you have to think about that. I'm not going to quit my job. I don't know why people quit their job. And all things line up that I feel this is a wise decision. Okay? And it still inspires me. Okay? So I hope people get that. And so, but yes, I could survive on DoorDash, definitely DoorDash and YouTube, and I'm still keeping a main job for healthcare benefits, etc. But I could survive on Social Security on this. Okay? especially if I don't go to Starbucks or Whole Foods. But I'm still going to Starbucks or Whole Foods, guys. So I work hard to do what I want. I ain't not lying about that. I'll tell you, thank you, Mama and Solomon. The Whole Foods popping, Sprouts popping too. Thank you, Pat Go. I love you. I thought about you today, Pat Go. You live your dream. You get down to Arizona. Charles, way to go, Sam. I'm grateful, man. You know what it is. Thank the Lord. Doug, if you got the bag, right time is check. Yep. If it's below your means and you've done the research of the area and you have exit strategies, it's the right time. Safe place each night. Yep. There's cameras. Risk mitigated to some extent. There's some other risk, but risks are mitigated for what I need. I agree. Assets are allocated exactly by the beach. Logistical, done. What's not to love? I thank God. Took a long time to check off all these boxes. Looking forward. Thank you, Doug. To check off all these boxes and to not rush, it's only by the grace of God and through hard work. You got to discipline yourself. I got to take a hydration break, guys. I feel inspired, man. I do. Pat, if your neighbors hear you live streaming, they're going to want to hang with you. Now, I already introduced myself to my neighbors, not as inspirational nomad, but just to get a feel for them. So look, I know how to navigate life because I've already lived in a community and I've had good neighbors. So I will mind my business. I'll be a positive person in the community. And I'm not going to be doing, I'm still doing a lot of live streams from my car like this. I'm going to have the same car. And I got a campsite right now. Why am I not at the campground? Because I don't want to raise my voice at a campground. So what's the difference between that and having a home base? Nothing. I'm paying more for a camp. I'm paying almost $1,000 a month for a campground right now. This home base going to cost me less than $500 a month. I cut my, so guys, it's a win. And the campgrounds aren't on the beach. I hate to tell you, even if they're close. So guys, it's a win. It's a win, guys. And when I do live feeds, there'll be a more melatonin. They'll be like the hotel, but there's nothing wrong with that. Why? Guys, I can adapt. I don't need to be one thing forever. I don't need to be in the street forever. I don't need to be in the church forever. I don't need to be fat forever. I don't need to be skinny forever. I don't need to be inspirational nomad forever. I don't need to be anything forever. I can change. Okay? And I will change based on the criteria I mentioned. Never forget it. Thank you, Pat. Now you're invested in land you love. I am. I'm committed to Florida, guys. Look, if global warming comes and Florida goes into the sea, I'm not going to like life as much anyway. So I'm committed. Yeah. And I had a couple people mock me. So you're not really committed to Florida. You're mobile. All right, we'll see. When the time is right, guys, I'm committed. I've been in Florida in the summer. I'm committed. I've been in New Jersey during a hurricane. You say, we'll see what happens next year if you got a hurricane. Well, two things. One is I'm going to get 10 months of life equity without this hurricane. And if a hurricane comes and blows away, guys, I'm putting an RV there. I thought about that. Okay. So you got to think about all those options. Early riser, thank you again, man. I appreciate your support. I love your tag name. Thank you for that housewarming gift. I never thought that I would even embrace the word housewarming. But like I say, when you go through a tragedy, a death, a breakup, a divorce, a foreclosure, whatever. And I didn't go through a foreclosure. All I can tell you is that take your time and heal. You don't need to date right away. You don't need to buy right away. I tell anyone right now selling their house, don't buy anything for at least 3 years. In my opinion, do what you want. I tell anyone right now going through a divorce, don't date anyone for at least 2 years. I tell anyone right now that their pet dies, don't buy another pet for at least a year and a half. I tell everyone grieve, grow, don't rush. I practice what I preach. Don't rush. Don't see me buying a home base and rush to buy a home base. Don't see me living in a car and rush to live in a car because you want to be in Florida. Look at my videos when I stayed in New Jersey in my car for 2 years. I did not rush to Florida. I did not rush to Florida. I did not rush to Florida. I didn't wait till I was 65 to live in Florida because I thought of that. I didn't stay in the electrical union because I could have got more pension credits. I thought of that. But I didn't leave the electrical union until I had another job. I didn't stop applying for jobs. I didn't think just like an electrician. I thought like I could do something else. I'm not thinking just like inspirational nomad. I could be something else. You have to think outside your current circumstance. And you have to do the science, the data. You have to know the numbers. You have to know yourself. You have to manage expectation and not rush, but put in the work. BLM, thank you. I believe I answered that. Yep, I stayed in my car the whole time, no hybrid. Thank you. Virex, you could have, I answered that already. Thank you for the comment. Twister, I'm very proud of you. I know you're going to get to South Florida one day. I got a couple friends that came to South Florida. Everyone I know that used to live with me up north that came to Florida, I don't know any of them that regret it. Okay. I know people that left Florida, they regret it. But why? Because they didn't get a job transfer first. They didn't research which areas of Florida. There's some bad areas of Florida. And they didn't mitigate their risk. They took too much risk. They didn't do enough research, and they hate Florida. And their problem is not Florida. Their problem is their risk assessment. And guys, could I make the wrong decision? Yeah. But I just broke down how I logically, emotionally, in every way mitigate as much risk as I can. Am I taking some risk? Yes. There's no... If I buy RV and I don't buy no property, there's a risk there. What's the risk? The RV depreciates. I got to pay higher mountain campground fees, or I stealth park forever. I always got to move around. I'm not at the beach all the time. I got to spend money for gas. In 5 years, my RV's worth less. Campground fees are more. I'm older. Guys. It's not easy. I've shared with you when I've been broken emotionally on this channel. And many of you encouraged me. There were some that mocked me. I want to tell you that it's okay to go through a mental meltdown or to be emotionally distraught. But I want to tell you, when you're in there, self-care, maintain an income, pick up a side income. Don't write me a 5-paragraph, well-written sentences of well-thought-out things and tell me that you have a driver's license, a certification that you're able to drive, which means you can deliver goods and services and get paid. Don't tell me you have a driver's license, but you can't work. Because you have a certification that says you're able enough to drive. And if you want to live in your car and you can't work, if you don't work, your dreams don't work. If you don't work, your dreams don't work. If you don't work, your dreams don't work. Don't worry about where to park. Don't worry about where to park. Worry about the fact that your dreams don't work if you don't work. Let's go back to live comments. Vicky, we connected early on in this channel. And we have a similar passion for Florida, and she did the research. And she found out that California, she has a disabled son, will give her a little bit more subsidies than Florida. And that the temperature and the weather and the environment is nice in California. I think she still likes Florida a little bit more. But she lived in Minnesota. So, Vicky, you changed your life. Hopeful in California. That's AKA Vicky. Look, you have hope when you live in an environment that inspires you. When you live in an environment you hate life. But I hated life and stayed in that environment until I wisely got out of it. Vicky, I'm so proud of you. Tracy, you've been very much an encouragement. Thank you for everything recently. I love that super sticker. Will I get a pet again? I don't plan to. But it is a pet-friendly community. I love you. Rex, yeah, I read this already and I answered that. But thank you for the comment. And it's a good question. Twista Sam, you are part of success too. Never forget it. Thank you, Twista. You're one of your assets, like Hal, many other people in here, your positive, encouraging attitude. People will want to hire you. People will want to promote you. People will want to be by you. But protect your energy from some people because they want to steal your joy. I worked with a guy. We were having lunch break in a cafeteria. And I said, why don't you never smile? He said, because Sam, you got to be careful when you show your happiness. People want to steal your joy. I said, well, that's true. I said, but walking around with no joy, they already stole it. If you're scared to smile because someone may disappoint you, then you already lost. If you're scared to commit to something new because you got to give up what you had, then you're not free living in your car. You're in prison living in your car. That's what I want to tell you tonight. That if you're free, it is not determined by if you live in a car or a house. It's determined by your mindset and your habits. And I want you to never forget that. You tattoo that somewhere. You say, inspirational nomad, what do you do with your name? It's different now you're a homeowner. What do I do with the names of the people who've passed away that are etched in my skin? I carry them with me. Okay. That's what I do. Okay. And I missed some super chats. Forgive me. Forgive me, K. Smith. I'm sorry. Yes, it is complete. Thank you. Say yes if you're inspired. K. Smith, thank you. And I apologize for being late on that. Please forgive me, brother. I didn't mean that out of disrespect. Jack Burris, brother. Thank you for the congratulations. I know you got the beautiful RV. I thought about you the other day. You have the new Jayco that I looked at. I almost got that Jayco. If this mobile home blows away, I will get something like that Jayco or a van. I don't know. But right now, I just want to complete the transaction. And I want to settle in. My car is staying the same for now. My routine staying the same with incremental change for now. Jack, thank you. K. Smith, thank you. Everyone on the super chats, thank you. If I'm missing any comments or super chats, please do not take it out of disrespect. I know how you feel. I'm just trying to get through this night and share these thoughts. Where are we at? Let me see if I go back in order again. Thank you again, Tracy. We're at, thank you, Verax. We're at Twister. Aaron, thank you for everything. I believe in you and your sons. Aaron goes, hey, guys, congrats, Sam. Thank you, Aaron. Now, Aaron's on the opposite spectrum. She's selling her house and living in her van. Is that a good thing? Yes. Should she be scared? No. Why? Especially as an empty nester. You need to get rid of everything. You need to refocus your life. You're not raising kids anymore, even though your kids will always be there with you. You are now reinventing yourself. And when you reinvent yourself, you're rehabbing your life. Go down to the studs. Go down to the studs. And don't add anything until you understand your foundation. Work on your habits. And Aaron, you're smart. You already did the side hustles. That's what you're doing. Aaron's building up recurring side income and main income of $8,000 a month. Your health and your income are your independence, not your parking lot. Never forget it. Andre, I'm very happy for you, Sam. Thank you, Andre. You've been more than positive, more than gracious, like many other people on this channel. Thank you. Twister, Sam. It's like you said, if it all turns to a flop, you learn from it. Yep. Sell and back where you are. Yep. You can't lose, brother. Well, thank you. And certainly I could lose. Look, certainly there could be some major thing, but I cannot tell any of you in good conscience there's any decision you make that there's no risk. The risk that I take, but let's say the opposite. Let's say I don't buy because I'm scared of the risk. Okay, well, I have to assess the risk I'm currently in. I'm living in a car. I've got no house, no insurance. I don't, nothing. If I get sick or hurt now, I'm at a higher risk than if I buy a home base at the housing price. But if I buy a house above my means in an area I don't know, I'm at a bigger risk even if I have a house to keep me safe because I messed up my asset allocation. You only get so many chances to allocate more than $5,000. For some people, look, they may be born rich. I'm born middle class. Okay, I worked minimum wage jobs and I worked my way up. Okay, and I'm buying a $150,000 house after 5 years of being homeless. The average house in America right now is $350,000. The other thing I'm showing you through my example is you can still find affordable housing. I've done videos for the past year on this channel during the height of the housing market of houses as low as $39,000 to $150,000. I've showed you. So all these people who say that, you can't find, they're not looking, they're not putting in the work, man. And again, the grace of God, I don't want to be boastful, but I want to tell you that everything is a risk. Doing nothing is a risk, but when in doubt, do nothing. So I want to teach you guys, at least as much as I can. I'm not perfect. Don't take everything as I say as gospel. Don't do as I say without doing your own research. But you guys get it. Thank you, Twister. Aaron, hey, key question. Do you feel inspired? Yes. Because at the end of the day, that was your biggest thing. Well, that and the science. There's two parts of life, the data, the science, and the emotions, which tie into inspiration. the energy, the vibe. I balanced both. That's wisdom. You can feel inspired about someone you're dating, but the science is they're not taking care of themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and you're dating them. I don't care how inspired you are by them, that's a bad decision. You can marry a stable person who has a good job and good habits, but you're not passionate about them. That's a bad decision. You have to marry wisdom and emotion, science, data, and emotion. If you just date someone because they're stable, but you're not passionate about them, that's not wisdom. If you just buy something because it's below your means, that's not wisdom. If you just buy something because it's where you want to be and you're inspired, but it's not below your means, that's not wisdom. You got to balance. If you just eat everything you want because you think you're going to die, you're inspired by the food, but it's not wisdom. But if you read every calorie and you never enjoy a little bit more calorie, then you're anorexia. I've been both. I'm balancing my life. I'm using science, data, and emotion. Both equally balanced, and by the great, that's wisdom. Okay. And that's what I want to share. Good job. Aaron, you seem inspired, but I'm coming in late. Yep. Look, there's no doubt about it. Look, I mean, there's been home bases before where I've been under contract where I haven't been inspired. I mean, I felt like instant regret, but I was able to get out of the deals or not follow through on the deals. One thing I learned from that condo, it was by the beach, but not on the beach, and it was shared walls. And I really didn't want, it was bigger, but I don't want bigger. So you learn from every experience, but when in doubt, don't buy. When in doubt, don't buy. Cartoon Mark, boom, 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 boom. You're in PSL, you know what it is. You're a man of wisdom. You've been saying beach cottage. We're there, brother. That can turn to an RV lot. Pecco, 200 square foot. Yep. That's like 10 by 20, if that. Yes, nice. Not much maintenance. Very little, guys. Small little kitchen. New appliances. I'm not buying any appliances. One recliner, one sofa that turns into a bed, and a small little bedroom with a stand-up shower, guys. I'm thankful, man. This is one of the last little shacks like this, man. I feel good. How many that I thought I'd never find another one? That's the other thing I want to share. There's been so many opportunities I thought like I'll never get another opportunity. But wisdom didn't match up. If wisdom doesn't match up with the opportunity, it's not an opportunity, even though I cursed God after the opportunity didn't work out. I was inspired by certain things, but the science and the data didn't match up. Then the science and data matched up, but I wasn't inspired. There was no sunlight. It was shared walls. And wisdom didn't match up. And opportunity after opportunity went by. And I said, man, how many more opportunities? It's not going to be. And I'm not saying there's endless opportunities, but I'm saying it's got to be a balanced decision. You have to get extreme in life to change. I've got extreme. I've lived in my car as a bare minimalist to get where I'm at. My channel started. I'm selling my house, living in my car to get down to Florida to cut my monthly bills in half and live by the beach. Okay. Thank you, Peyton Nolan. I appreciate and respect you. I thought about you today, and I was praying for you and your family. I thank everyone, guys, that have touched my life in a positive way. I know there's some negative people out there, but I know there's more positive. Look, sharing your life publicly, some people could be out to get you. Having a fixed location. Living, stealth camping in a parking lot. Okay. Someone's out to get you. I've been approached in the middle of the night just a few times by a couple people who could have got ugly. It didn't. So there's a lot of people say a lot of things that, this will make you more vulnerable, that will make you more vulnerable. Guys, I've been in a lot of environments in life. Okay? And what I can tell you, okay, is everything has risks. And I've been in some of the riskier ones. Okay? And I'm mitigating some risk. That's all I'm doing. I'm not eliminating risk. Anything can happen here, guys. But I understand life. I've lived through enough. I'm a middle-aged man. Okay, so thank you. Hal, good to see you. Let me get back to these live comments, guys. In order. I want to try to do it in order. Forgive me if I miss a comment. Pat Go. Yeah, I read that. Pat Go. Cartoon Mark, are you fully submerged? I can't tell you. This is another problem. I had to push myself today to fully submerge. How many people who live by the beach but don't fully submerge in the ocean? It's a mortal sin if you live by the beach, and especially every day you get older, you don't get time back. Guys, I'm buying at the end of hurricane season. I know one thing, I'm going to get at least 10 months without a hurricane. I'll never get that 10 months back. I know if a hurricane comes, it becomes RV lot, but I know every day, guys, I'm fully submerged in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm not going to wait till I'm retired to fully submerge. I can't tell you how many people I see every day. 90% of people, they don't fully submerge in the ocean. They're right by the ocean. Why? To enjoy life, to allocate your time and your resources properly, very few people do it. People get close. Some people get close. They put their foot in the sand. Some people actually have the balls, the courage to let the water go up to their knees. There's few brave hearts that fully submerge in the ocean. I've researched Florida so much. I know the saltwater content in my mouth from North Florida, Central to South. I know the different beaches and the salt quantity in the ocean. I thought about that today. I know the different grains of sand in the different beach parks, in the different areas. I have researched Florida so much that, guys, you can only, I've done all the research. Could there still be a disaster? Always. But when you know how much salt is in a beach park 30 miles away from the other one, if you know the quality of sand, the color, the tint, the feel of every beach area in the entire coastal land of Florida, guys, you've done the research. When you're freezing your ass off in a northern state and you say, man, I want to go to Florida, where should I park? You haven't done the research, man. And I'm not mad at you because I've been there, but I want to tell you this, guys. A big part of it is you're going to have to do the work. And if you ain't doing the work, guys, your dreams ain't going to work. Back to these live comments. Aaron, a tattoo is part of the story. That's right. I have 19, and every one of them is a part of me. So I don't regret. I agree with that. You know, I had a guy once told me, a neighbor, he said, don't ever cover up one of your tattoos, even if you regret it. I agree. Now, again, if you got some Satanist tattoo and it really upsets you, but even that's a testimony. So, look, guys, your biggest way to help yourself and others is to share your experiences, good and bad. If every tattoo you have is good, you don't have a testimony. If every experience you have is good, you don't have a testimony. People don't get delivered when you share. Yeah, they're happy for you. You know, some of my biggest videos, guys, as far as like the personal ones, my biggest videos are just RV reviews. No one wants to hear about your individual story, only a few people you connect with. I got 1 million views, not sharing about my life, sharing about an RV. Not even, ESP, if you're watching, you never have to show your face, but you have to push yourself to go to an RV dealership and do RV reviews and say no to every RV dealer. So your life is your ups and downs, and people connect when, a lot of times when you're suffering or when you're going through a divorce or when you're going through a sad time in life or when you got a speeding ticket. That's when they connect. Keith, thank you again, brother. I'm proud of you, man. Thank you. Keith, I love you. Twista, love you too, Keith. I love Naples. If I was going to be in Southwest Florida, it would either be Naples or Marcos Island. I visit both. One of the research things I did when I first came to Florida is I visit the West Coast and East Coast. One thing I kind of knew right away, I don't want to be northern or central Florida, even though there's some great areas. I need to be South Florida, whether southeast or southwest. And then I visited the Gulf of Mexico. And Naples is beautiful. I know a guy I love. He loves Fort Myers. Marcos Island, very nice. But the Gulf Ocean is not the same as the Atlantic Ocean. And for me, I need to be on the East Coast. And that's a key thing if you're going to move to Florida. What side do you like, east or west? But you can't just take my words. You got to experience it yourself. And then you got to go to different parts. I could take you to bad parts of the East Coast and then good parts of the West Coast. And then you would get a false idea of what the East and the West are. Remember, there's good and bad everywhere, and there's individuals. Everyone has a different fingerprint. And that means you can get a little bit from each person, but you got to figure out what you want. And that takes time. Let people mock you and say you're not decisive. Yeah. As long as you maintain your health and your income, you can be as indecisive as you want. Never forget that. Yeah. Cartoon Mark says, congratulations. Thank you, brother. You're a wise man. You give a lot of wise advice. You're going to figure out your circumstance. Keith, Twister, I'm loving it in Naples. I'm in heaven compared to Indiana. Look, like Vicky, you move out of Minnesota, you move out of Indiana, you move out of a northern state. I'm not going to say if you go anywhere in the South, you're good. Nope. I'm not going to say if you go anywhere in Florida, you're good. Nope. I'm going to say if you don't buy anything initially, if you travel to areas, the warmest place in the winter in the United States of America is South Florida, statistically. It's warmer than California, even Southern Cal. I love people I've gotten this channel from California. It's warmer than Texas, and it's tropical. It's not a desert. Some people like deserts, some people like mountains. I like flat, tropical, Caribbean vibe with international diversity. That's South Florida. You say, why don't you like the Panhandle? It's not all those things. It's Florida. It's not all those things. Does that mean you shouldn't like the Panhandle? No. But you got to know that. You got to know that. You got to come and experience it. Good job. Yeah, Twista, God bless. Yeah, good to hear, Keith. Yep. Christina, what's up? I love you, Christina. Thank you, Christina, for everything. Hey, Sam, just got a home. We're under contract. Got a place. I got 3 days to back out. Anything can happen, but we're under contract, and it looks good. Keith, no, K. Smith, yes is a complete sentence. Yes, just like Noah's. You got it. Yes, if you're inspired. If not only are you inspired, but you've done the research, you're buying below your means, and you understand the risk mitigation, pros and cons. If you just go off inspiration, you're misled. You need inspiration and science and data, and then you need to balance. Good job. Doug, Ocean Breeze sounds inspiring. It is, but if it was $400K, I wouldn't have got it. If it was in a bad neighborhood, I wouldn't have got it. If it was in a poorly run community, I wouldn't have got it. If it didn't have sun exposure, I wouldn't have got the lot. You got to learn all those things. I'm sharing them with you tonight. Doug, thank you again. Christina, yeah, congratulations, Sam. How happy for you. I appreciate that. Look, I kind of, I don't know if resented, but we can use that word. And I look down on people say, oh, congratulations, you just got a house. Because it's like, it's like, damn, man, it's like a death sentence. But I get that. But I could also say, look, guys, I thought about this long and hard. And I know I don't have unrealistic expectation. And I think we're in a good place, okay? And it could turn to shit, but again, if it turns to shit, where are we? We're right back where we're already at. Okay. Are you guys and girls, listen, guys, if it turns to shit, we are right back where we're already at, okay? So, we're going forward. Good job. Aaron, I could cry happy tears. I appreciate those who are truly happy for me. Thank you, everyone. Christina, Aaron, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. I'm inspired by it. And I can see that you are. Thank you. Thank you for asking. This is awesome. Thank you. You deserve it by the grace of God also. Thank you. So happy for you. I appreciate that. Don't take that lightly. Doug, 150K all day. Yeah, look, I think that's look, you say 5 years ago you could have got it for half the price. 5 years ago, people told me half the price was too much. Wait for housing prices to go down. People say now, don't buy. And people say now, buy before house prices go up. I don't believe in either one. I don't believe you should buy just because you think house prices are going to go up. I don't think you should wait just because you think you're going to go down. I've been very consistent. Don't buy until you found something below your means in an area you want to live. You've done the research and you take your time. That's the template, man. That's what I feel. Good job. Jesse, underwriter says the house was bought by the seller under 90 days ago. He's a flipper. There's nothing wrong with that. He bought it and he's flipping it. He's an investor. There's a lot of investors in the market now because we're in a little bit of a bubble. We're in a little bit of a frothy market. There's no doubt about that. So that's why I tell you, don't rush. And if it's not below your means, if it's not where you want to live, and if the infrastructure is not in place, you got to think about all those costs. What do you need to look at? This is what I looked at. When was the last, what's the electrical service? What's the age of it? Etc. HVAC system and plumbing. And obviously roof and any structure things. You got to know the electrical infrastructure, the HVAC, the plumbing, and the roof, and if there's a foundation. Those are the key components of a house. Don't worry about the paint color per se, and don't worry about all those things. But for me, guys, I'm buying the land. I can put an RV, but it's got a little shack. I'm not painting it. It's got a nice paint. It's got all the furniture. I ain't buying anything, guys. I'm just going to settle in. I'm going to be very inspired. Everything's good. I'm praying for you, Jesse. Jesse, I know what you feel. Take your time, Jesse. If things are not lining, back out. Okay. I've backed out of deals. Don't be ashamed. Why? Because you're not going to miss out. There's going to be other opportunities. And you'll be wiser. If you can't back out, what would you do? Lose your deposit? If you can't back out, chances are, look, if you haven't closed, there's a lot you could do to back out. You may lose a deposit. But I'm not saying you should back out. I'm saying do all the things I mentioned. You'll figure it out. Twista, F the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I've done it. And it's just not for me. I don't begrudge anyone for wanting to do it or wanting to experience it. But it's not for me, guys. I don't want to go in the middle of nowhere. I don't care if it's for free. It's for free. It's for a reason. It's in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to do that. And remember, you're going to be camping around other people. They're there because it's for free. And some of it, you got to be careful. Okay? Jesse, just like you, Sam, it's time for some stability. There you go. Okay. I've been houseless for 4 years now. Began as a need, and then it became a lifestyle. I paid my dues, and I'm ready to move. Well, one is I believe that you have paid your dues, and I believe in stability. The only thing I'm unsure of, but I'm just asking you, I'm not saying, last year you were in Florida, and you were talking about buying a house in Florida. Now you're back in Boston, and you're talking about buying a house in Boston. See, to me, you're missing one of the check marks. Where do you want to live? It doesn't sound like you know where you want to live. Now, if you told me you had to go back to Boston for work. I lived in my cars 2 years in New Jersey because of the same reason, but I didn't buy a house there. So if you don't want to live in Boston, I would not buy a house. I would work there, and I would apply for other jobs or remote jobs and wait until I got it. But I would, and that's the big red flag for me, Jesse. That you wanted to buy a house in Florida last year. Now you want to buy one in Boston. I'm glad you went back there to secure the bag, but I'm not glad you're buying a house if you don't want to live there. And $190K, you're not by the beach. Where do you want to live and what's your budget? That's my question to you. And what's the square footage? And what's the HOA? And what's the infrastructure? That's what I ask you. Good job. Aaron, the houses they put up will add value. Yeah. Look, what they're doing in communities that allow it, these small mobile homes that were once by the beach, built in mainly the 1970s, they're knocked down. And eventually, they build now single-family houses with a higher hurricane rating. They build back better. They're multi-stories, they're bigger, and those houses ain't going nowhere, for the most part. I mean, and those are going to be worth money. They are worth money. The neighbor in the community could have a $500,000 house. Am I going to build a $500,000 house? No. Is that going to help your home? Yeah, you got to look at that. If you put a little tiny home in the middle of nowhere and your neighbor is camping in a tent, your home value ain't going up. It's going down. Okay. You don't have no HOA, but you also don't have no home equity. It's a bad asset allocation. Especially, look, it's a bad asset allocation. If you really like that life, there's nothing wrong with it. Just make sure you know your money game. Okay. Good job. I hope you guys will listen. I hope this helped a little bit. Aaron, the houses they put up. Well, yeah, I read that. That's an excellent comment. I agree. Keith, so happy for you. I appreciate those who are happy for me. Jack, thank you again, Jack. You've been a huge supporter along the way. You know the RV life because you got the Jayco, and you know the house life because you got major equity. You know both. No more all-night gas stations, guys. Well, I may do some live feeds still from there, but you know what it is. Michelle, I feel your excitement. Thank you. It's contagious. Thank you. Hal, Sam, what's really good? You already know what it is. Remember, guys, Cameron was born in Harlem and he bought a house in Orlando. Never forget it. Tutha, don't rush Florida. No, no, no. Sam, it's like you said directly to my face. You know what it is. I needed that straight up. You got it, brother. Hal, the scouting program that I am involved in asked me to become the cub master of the pack. The woman that does it is stepping down and everyone threw my name in. I wasn't even at the meeting. I don't know what it is, Sam, but some real good shit is happening to me. God is good. I picked up some extra shifts at my old hotel, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Sam, I'm trying to kill stuff. The cub master role will look good on my resume as well. I picked up shifts, extra money. I feel great about myself, but I also see how I really feel about the hotel now that I'm different. I'm a different person. Sam, I like it says good on talks and real responses you have given me. I'm going to talk about all your things here. Give me a minute. Even when you asked me if I had a disability when I couldn't find work, laughing. Yep. Hey, guys, the blows of a friend can be trusted. The kisses of an enemy are deadly. If you write me a comment and I can read it and you have a driver's license, don't tell me you can't work. And I want to know why you're not working. Because you can work from home and do data entry. If you can drive, you can deliver food. So if you tell me you're not working, but you can type sentences and you can go to the store, what are you doing all day? And if you don't know what you're doing, don't ask me where you're parking. Because guys, that algorithm is not the algorithm I walk with, you know. Hal, let me stop here. One is congratulations on being productive. Productivity breeds more productivity. Now, the only thing, you can burn yourself out if you don't say no to some things. What do you say no to? Volunteering things and things that are not in line with two dynamics. One is they don't produce an income. And then if you're going to volunteer as charity, which I've done, you have to learn to say no and manage your time. Not because they're not giving you money, but because you only have so much time. And you have to make money, because if you don't make money, you're going to need charity from the charity you're volunteering to. Okay. So one is you have to take care of you or else you're going to need charity. So before you volunteer for a charity, work for yourself or else you need charity. So that's your priority. You got to prioritize. Next is you only have so many other hours in a day. You got to do self-care. That means some working out and some hobbies. Then that you only have so many time to volunteer. So don't take on too much, but your productivity energy is attracting other productivity energy. But remember, you got to manage your time. So be very careful and be willing to say no. Good job. Hopefully I'm going to read all of this. He goes, I'm just reflecting on where I was last year in February, well, this year in February, almost the end of this year. So about a year ago where I was and where I am today. 10 toes down, brother. Today is Brooklyn Day. Jay-Z birthday. Well, shout out to Jay-Z, huge Brooklyn native. Jay-Z worked his way up and became a multimillionaire billionaire. Did he buy property in Marcy? No. He bought property in California and various other places. Why? Because he wants to be in a better environment. Now, there's beautiful parts of Brooklyn, but I want to tell you that I was brought up in New Jersey. I bought property there, then I sold it. I said, I don't want to buy property where I don't want to live. You don't want to buy property in a bad neighborhood. There's parts of South Florida I would not buy property. Cameron was brought up in Harlem. Alpo lived in Harlem, committed some things, went to jail, left Harlem, got into witness protection, went back to Harlem, got killed there. You cannot always stay where you are forever. You salute those who adapt and change. You are not the area you grew up. You're not your friends you grew up with. You're not your church you grew up in. You're not anything other than who you need to be the best version of yourself. Good job. So hopefully I read everything, brother. I'm very proud of you. Paid it on. Better day today. You did the right thing by separating. Be productive when you separate. Self-care, you got it. There's always sunshine after the rain. Yes. And remember the lesson. The lesson is when it's toxic, separate. and work on yourself and be productive. Good job. Hal. And not a side hustle job. I want to tell you, balance your life, but get extreme to change your life, and then balance it. Good job. Aaron. I had zero doubt you would consider the science. I love you. I know you're smart. Your sons are smart. Everyone, but I'm a mom. I respect you. I'm a mom person. I respect it. And I thank God for moms. I thank God for people who are in tune with their emotions. Why? If everyone was a father and if everyone was just by science and there was no emotion, we'd live in a harsh world. I thank God I grew up in a house of 3 women, even though it was a little bit hectic. I thank God. That's why I'm not men going their own way. I thank God for women in my life. I recognize, you shouldn't be a mama's boy per se. You shouldn't be like pussy whipped. And I had to figure that out. But I thank God and I respect men and women equally. And I want that balance. I don't want to be a jaded, smart dude. I don't want to be a pussy whipped, dumb dude. I want to be a balanced person that respects men and women equally. That's what I want. She goes, but I'm a mom person. And I can't help that I was worried. No, I understand that. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for all those who care about you being inspired. I appreciate that. We shrinks. Now, I get it. Are feeling people. You're empathetic. That's a great quality, and I appreciate that. I'm just so happy for you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Paige Nolan, for being a member, and thank you for sharing your story, man. Hal, congrats on this moment. Thank you, man. I'm proud of you. Hal, I'm super proud of you, man. You enjoy as well, man, because I'm super proud of you, man. Pat, if you live on the beach, you will bathe in the ocean. Well, one is I already bathe in the ocean every day. I fully submerge. 2 is I will just have to drive around less to get to the ocean, and I won't have to make reservations a year in advance. 3 is I don't have to bathe in the ocean because I'll have a shower in my home base, and I'll still be within 15 minutes of a gym if I don't want to use my home base. We're good. Good job. Thank you, Pat. If you lived on the beach, I'd soap up inside my house and then run out the ocean and rinse off. Well, remember, guys, I've been homeless for 5 years, so I've seen people take a full shower at the beach shower. Do I judge them? No. Do I sit next to them and wash off the sand? No. I just navigate around them. Good job. Twister, all fire emojis. Thank you, Michelle. I love the crunch of the sand. I did today. I felt what I do. This is what I want to do. I go onto the beach with my sandals. Then once I get fully on the beach, I take off my sandals and I let my feet go in the sand. Got to be careful where you step. And then I feel the grain of the sand, and then I pick up a bunch of seashells. And every part of the beaches have different seashells depending on logistically where you are. I pick up the seashells and I scrunch them. I want to feel Mother Nature. I want to finger, I want to feel it. I want to get it juicy. Remember, women are an oven, men are a microwave. I want to get Mother Nature wet. Then once I've done the finger massage, I fully submerge in the warm cooch, which is the Atlantic Ocean, which was 76 degrees in South Florida today, Atlantic Ocean temperature. It was 80-something degrees air temperature, 76 ocean temperature. Guys, it was a squirt fest down here, okay, guys? So let's stay positive, okay? We're not doing these live feeds from the home base this loud. Where are we at? Twist of fire, yeah. Michelle. Oh, yeah, right there. Pago, wearing clothes, of course. Yeah, well, I still don't wear underwear, and I don't plan to wear underwear when I'm in my home base. Guys, I'm going to have a robe. My man Charles, brother. Charles, man, I love you, brother. You know what it is, man. We're like-minded, but we're different. We're individuals, and I love you. I love your videos. I love your intelligence. I love your empathy. I love your artisticness. I love you, brother. Congrats, Sammy. I'm extremely happy for you. Look, love to you. Love to everyone in this chat. I don't neglect to be thankful for the good people in my life. I try to show gratitude because I understand that your successes in life, the people supporting you play a part. Look, ultimately, all of us have to do the individual work. But when you do the work, you attract positive people. When you don't do the work, like Hal was just sharing about his testimony, he shared it. When you don't do the work, you attract negative people that are smoking weed, that aren't working, that are in toxic relationships. Energy attracts energy. If you're productive, if you're trying to discipline, if you're trying to change for a positive, you're going to attract other people. If you're negative, if you're in a toxic relationship, if you're drinking, smoking, guess who you're attracting? Energy attract energy, man. That's why it matters. And when you can't find the right people, do the work of your life. That'll keep you busy the rest of your life. See, a lot of people say, well, I did the right thing today. Why no one came around? Consistency. And if you can't walk a level of your journey alone, you ain't never going to walk a good journey. So be careful. Thank you, Charles. Let me get back to these comments. I don't know where I was. Hopefully I go back in order. If I miss a comment, please forgive me and type it again. Yeah. Michelle's laughing at Pat Go. Pat Go, we love your sense of humor, and I want you to get Arizona. Love to you, Pat Go. Thank you, Pat Go. Andre, welcome, Payday to Nolan. Thank you, Andre. Andre, me too, Sam. I've been in Naples many times. Andre, you travel a lot. I love that. Pat Go, we love you. Inspirational Florida Beach dweller. Yep. Inspirational homeowners under contract. Hal, they didn't understand the assignment when they asked, where can I get mail living in a car? Look, I pull myself back because I don't want to mock them. I asked the same question, but not necessarily in the comment section. I researched it online, but I don't mock them asking. But there's a lot in the way you ask and in the manner of your other comments and your channel's name and your whole presentation. But I want to be fair that I've been in a place of immaturity before myself. So it's a tough balance where I don't want to be too harsh because I've been that person. But at the same time, I don't want to give this false hope or this false encouragement where when you're at a point, sometimes you just got to work on the foundational things you need, which is your health, your ability to produce income, and your ability to do the research on your own. But there's been some people that have been very gracious in asking, but their intelligence is so high in the way they type their sentences. And then they tell me that they're on a fixed income or they can't work. I say, how can you be that intelligent and not be able to work from the same computer or same phone you're typing on? I don't know, man. It's like, I don't understand. It's like, but I don't know. But again, if you need disability or if you're a senior, get it. But all I'm trying to say is get with a social worker too. Because if you follow up with your YouTuber more than you follow up with your social worker, don't ask me to be your social worker. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm not a social worker, guys. Aaron's a social worker, and that's on the off time. If you follow your favorite YouTuber or TikToker more than you follow your social worker to get the advice you need, don't ask the social media person. They're not a social worker. Either is Bob Wells, guys. He's a capitalist like me. And that's why I really do disagree respectfully for the people that without doing things in order, get in their vehicle and go on a journey with no science, with no discipline or good habits. I've met some people that they have what it takes, but they also get off the road because they don't have what it takes to sustain it. Look, we all got to get off the road eventually, and that's why I tell low-income people, get your subsidized house as a home base. If you're on a waiting list, why aren't you following up with your social worker? Okay. If you have a driver's license and the ability to drive, why aren't you driving to deliver food? If you need assistance, how can you be independent to live on the road and move around at will? It's an oxymoron. It's total long-term failure. There's too much risk. Should you be able to take that risk? Yeah, we're in America. Go ahead. But you're also going to be asked to move. You're also going to get a speeding ticket. You're also going to have a breakdown. You're also going to have to change tires. You're also going to get sick. You're also going to have a pandemic. Where are your resources going to come from? You going to go live with family? Just think about everything. Because I don't want to hurt you. I want to help you. Good job. Paco, my sister and my brother-in-law want to move to the Gulf Coast. That's not me. I asked why, I didn't get an answer. Yeah, like I said, don't ask, in my opinion, I love you, Pat. Don't ask someone else why they want to do what they want to do. You got to figure out what you want to do, because people, like, even for me, if you want to go to the west coast of Florida, don't listen to me, but listen to everyone and then experience it yourself, and you form your own conclusion. Good job. Pat, go. Cartoon Mark, email in your registration and give your house possessions away and refuse to leave Florida. Tell those brass monkeys they got to bring themselves from now on. I remember when I was still living in my car in New Jersey for 2 years. I took a vacation to Florida in December, like Cartoon Mark's doing now. And I was traveling back up north in my car, and I was at St. Augustine, Florida, and I was at a park. And the park ranger there, I was getting ready to leave. I said, damn, I don't want to leave Florida. He goes, well, why are you leaving? And he asked me like in a sincere way. I said, damn, like I actually can do it. But I told him, I said, look, I got to do things in order. So don't just get in your car and go to Florida. And I've told Mark, don't just quit his job and come to Florida, but run the numbers, downsize, and be willing to think not just as a utility tracer. Be willing to think not just as an electrician and see yourself and do other things. That's how you do it. You got to be creative. I have a lot of artists on here that, remember, you need science and art. Why? Because life is not an exact science. You need both. So there's a lot of artists here. They either do two things. One is they don't use the science. They don't know the numbers. Or even if they do, they can't visualize themselves being something other than they are. The whole point of art is to see something not as it is, but as you create. You have to see your life not as it is, but as you're going to create it. And if you don't get that, I don't understand how you're in the art game, man. This is the purest form of art, man. Creation. I got to take hydration break, guys. Hal, hard to say that again. I love you, Hal. I'm proud of you. The one was deep. Gail, I hope you're still in here, Gail. I want to say this to Gail. You have already proven that you are smart and able to do a lot of great things. I respect you. And I also think you're wise and you mitigated some risk and you got a home base, you got a nice subsidized apartment. But I understand it's not that nice and you want to come down to Florida. I think you can. I think that you've mitigated your risk. I think, look, you're in your 70s. You have nothing to prove to no one. Okay. When I'm speaking at this point in life, look, once you get to your 70s, guys, whether you worked or whether you didn't, even though my mom still works in her 70s. So I just want to tell everyone, though, when you're at a certain age, and I'm speaking about pushing yourself, you have to recognize that it's a general term. I empathize that at different ages and different abilities, there's different ways you want to push yourself. You want to mitigate risk, but you still want to take some calculated risk. So what am I saying? I'm saying all that to say I think Gail has mitigated some risk. I think she's got the ability still to travel, but I don't know her situation perfectly, so don't misquote me. And I still think you have it in you to do, if you know your situation better, come down to Florida to go visit to get your storage unit, to use your storage unit location as a star direction, a navigation point. You know, like, remember I did videos, Gail, anyone watching, when like a year or so ago after the pandemic, when I was in New Jersey for like 8 months, I was totally out of rhythm. And now I had to come back to Florida, and it was like so hard. And I said, damn, this is hard. I said, but what I got to do in my mind is I have to use my mailbox as a bullet point, a navigation point, a perimeter to say, well, Sam, just get to your mailbox and check it. You got to do that. And then you can figure out if you want to go back. So I would tell Gail specifically, this may not apply to everyone, because I know her situation a little bit. We've connected for a while. I would say make your storage unit a goal to say, look, you got to at least visit your storage unit to see if you can get your stuff out of it. And if you don't like Florida, well, you know Florida, but if you can't handle being on the road anymore or whatever, have enough money to stay at a hotel if you need, but you know enough, you can figure it out. You're smart. And then if it's tough, you just get what you need to get and get the fuck back. Because you mitigate your risk with the home base, with the subsidized apartments. Smart move, especially in your age demographic and your income level. I'm saying none of this out of disrespect, but respect. Because I respect Gail. I think, and people who watch Gail, she's got almost 1,000 subs. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. I still think, Gail, a couple things. One is I still think you can get monetized, but don't do YouTube for that. I still think you can travel. But again, I don't know your situation like you. And I still think you've been very smart. I don't look at you as dumb. I look at you as very smart. So I am very impressed by you. I very much believe in you. Now, I don't know you like you. So you may know if you got some issues going on. You may know what you want to do, what you can't. I don't want to force my view on Gail or anyone else. I want to encourage you by saying at the heart of everything I just spoke was that of respect. And I see in you tremendous ability, tremendous talent, tremendous intelligence. Okay. And I hope that you're hearing that because I mean that. Thank you, Doug. Oregon Pacific Ocean is like 51 degrees in December. Oof. That's like the, let's say positive. No full submerging. Yeah. That's almost like the ocean temperature in June in New Jersey. Now, I can't do that, guys. And it's dark colored blue, too. One flying solo, hey, Sam, love and respect. Reciprocal right back to you. Thank you. Keep one flying solo. Everyone, he's going through a divorce. Everyone going through a divorce. Don't buy another house. Don't date. Liquidate all the assets. Get through the divorce. Wait 18 months before you do anything. Just nice and easy. Self-care, health and income. Health and income. Health and income. Don't buy. Don't date. Good job. Twist up. I have to go to work now. Love to you. Hal, $2 super chat. What was that saying that you said about the one? Oh, shit. I don't remember, Hal. I don't remember. I'm sorry, brother. Thank you for the gracious super chat, Hal. I love you, brother. I'm not connected on that. I don't know. You're a member. Type what you want to ask me. I don't remember what I was saying. I was in a zone. You said it before that shit hit hard. God, well, I can't think of it now. Sometimes when I'm saying things, I'm in the spirit. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not like, I'm just vibing with the energy. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. The one, something along that. I don't know. If you remember some other key phrases, let me know. Maybe it'll jog my memory. Twista, I have to go to work. We love you, brother. I'll catch the replay. Respect. Go to work. If you don't work, your dreams don't work. Love to you, Sam. Same back. Super happy for you. Thank you. Doug, what is Gail's channel? Gail's channel is her tag name there, Frugal Gal. Frugal space Gal. G as in George, A-L. Frugal Gal. Subscribe. She's got almost over 600 subs. Get her to 1,000. And she'll figure it out. Again, if she gets a monetized channel, it's cherry on top. It's very little money, but help. And if she doesn't, you guys should go back and look at her videos, okay? Because I think she gave you a lot of information, a lot of sincerity, and a lot of humility that to me is very encouraging. I don't see a lot of people do what Gail did, okay? I don't see it. And she left her videos up too. She's got a lot of, yeah, she's good. She's good. Where are we at? Yeah, Hal. Sorry, brother. I don't remember. I love you, Hal. You've been gracious to me. You know I believe in you. Guys and girls, I've been on here for 2 hours. I hope that this video was not just about me buying a house. I tried to share with you things in order of the lessons I learned, the principles that may help guide you in your life. But it is your life. And everyone is in a different season of their life. And there is no guarantee in life. And a house doesn't make your life. Okay. And I'm not looking for this house to make my life. I'm looking for it as an enhancement in my daily routine, risk mitigation, and asset allocation based on all the things I share. And if it doesn't work out, I am right back where I'm at right now. And I can say that I did everything in order within wisdom. And that's the best you can do. Good job, Charles. Hey, Sam. I've been concerned if I start live streaming on my CAD channel, I won't be able to answer complex super chat questions. Do you have any suggestions? Yeah, I would still live stream on your thing. If you can't answer a question, you know the best answer is I don't know the answer. If someone doesn't want to watch your channel because you say I don't know the answer, then two things are going to happen. One is you may lose a viewer. But two is you're probably going to learn something because you're going to research it. And three is you're going to build up an ability to take a hit. If you want to be a YouTuber, you want to do anything in life, if you can't take a hit, you're not going to win the boxing match. Life is not just about throwing blows. It's about learning to endure some. Now, over time, the more blows you endure, you can learn how to create certain boundaries or certain defenses that opens you up less to unnecessary criticism or unnecessary blows. But part of the dynamic of live is anything can happen per se, but there's a lot of risk mitigation. But there is nothing wrong with someone asking you a question and saying you don't know. And if someone doesn't like it, they don't have to watch. And it's only going to help you. Don't feel embarrassed. I think that's what I would tell you. And I would tell you to, I don't want to tell you to expand that channel, but look, me personally, I enjoy your other channel more, Charles Elson, because I'm more into your talks about life and your artistic stuff and stuff like that. But your moneymaker is your cat. In my opinion, I would try to marry them both. I only believe in having one creator channel. That doesn't mean that's the only way to do it, but look, I would reinvent your channel. I wouldn't change the name. I will focus all my energy on a monetized channel. And I will start talking about art and about life on that channel, as well as CAD. You say, well, I'll lose 1,000 subscribers. Well, here's the risk mitigation. You got 3,000 subscribers and you're already monetized. So even if you lose 50% of your subscribers, you're still monetized. And now you're building on a foundation of one focused channel that you can do whatever you want. You say, well, Inspirational Nomad, you buy a home base. What if it goes down 50%? Well, I'm still living where I want, which isn't going to change no matter what the market does. It's still below my means. So it's good risk mitigation. So it's the same principle that should transcend to your personal allocation of time and resources. Good question, Doug. Have a great night, Sam. You too. Thank you for all the encouragement. And everyone, God bless. One. Christina, I do learn a lot with the channel. Thank you, Sam. Christina, you've been so gracious to me. I do not overlook your gracious heart. Christina, good night, Sam. Good night to everyone. Thank you. Guys and girls, thank you.